What's up, everybody? This is Dark Knight 316 from the Round Table. Today, I guess I'm solo, and I have nothing to show for the what we're drinking or anything.
What do you mean, Dark Knight? What do you mean? What are you drinking? I brought you something here. Oh. Of course, I'm not going to leave you hanging.
Oh yeah, but Robert Wheeler Gaming didn't leave me hanging this time.
Of course, man. You ain't going to be solo in this podcast.
Oh, look at this! Is what he brought us.
What we got going?
I got the Rain Inferno. Oh, this is a good
I brought
one. It's a
this
red
one.
dragon.
Sour gummy worm.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
It should taste like a candy, right?
Drinking it out of the same bat time, same bat channel mug.
Well, here's mine. Is bad guys don't always win medals. I thought this was a cool one. So it's roses are red, violets are blue. Good guys don't last, but bad guys do. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. Chico.
Razor Ramon Chico.
Yep. So, all right, let's see what we're sipping today.
I've been waiting on this one. I've been tired.
Yeah. Well, let's see if this one, and again, this is not endorsed for this channel yet.
Cheers.
Hopefully it will be. But you brought us some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Pinkies up. Well, that's pretty good.
That's a good red dragon.
This one actually tastes pretty good. Show off the camera, though. This one actually tastes pretty good cold, so.
Yeah, so if it's warm, it's not as good.
If anybody out there likes to work out and drink an energy drink, I'd recommend the Rain brand because it's a really good brand to be able to drink for your energy. So,
all right,
what you got for us today, Dark Knight?
Oh, okay. So today I have highlights of the state of play and also the Summer Game Fest.
Okay.
So Sony had to show off their games way before the Summer Game Fest revealed anything on there. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to know, what was your thoughts about the Summer Game Fest? Or actually, we'll start with the state of play first. So what was your thought about that one?
Well, I made a video on this for predictions. It was mainly the state of play, but I like to call.
You mean the Summer Game Fest?
Thank you. Yes, Summer Game Fest. But I like to call PlayStation. And look, here's the thing. I'm a big fan of PlayStation. PlayStation's my favorite console.
Yep. And if you don't see, I got the God of War shirt on.
But I've been calling them Dud Station because they've been giving us duds. There hasn't been anything that's good on PlayStation. And I think that's my biggest gripe for PlayStation. But when I'm looking at the games, I think the best one that they had was the Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes.
Even though for me,
we'll talk about that our full in depth.
Even though for me, you remember last week I was saying I hope they don't make it because I don't want them to touch the remaster. I'm super excited for it, but I'm looking at this so I got my phone here rolling up for the blog, but Astro Bot, okay, I'm not a big fan.
No, but those extra stages are pretty nice, but
I'm not going back to play it.
Yeah.
I think this game is just lame baby steps. I don't think
that one I didn't like at all.
That just seems kind of weird. Why would we even make a game like that? Okay, Bloodstain, that seems interesting.
The Castlevania game.
Cairn,
yeah.
Digimon Story, that seemed pretty interesting. Everybody's Golf, I don't really play the Hot Shots.
That's a basic Hot Shots game. I mean, they got Pac-Man in, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but here's my thing with Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. What was the difference between them calling it with the PSP version, the War of the Lions and stuff like that? So they're just naming it a bunch of different things.
I think we'll get into it, but I think it's because it wasn't fully translated. So I think this Ivalice one was the actual translation.
Here's the game I don't care about either. Ghost of Yotai. Ghost of Yotai was Ghost of Tsushima was really good, and Ghost of Yotai, I'm like, the hype, I don't really care. Hirogami is alright. Mm-hmm. 007 First Light they showed off. And see,
the trailer looked kind of weird because it didn't kind of show I understand it says, getting his 007 license, kind of like how they did Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. Mm-hmm. But it didn't, to me, it still didn't seem like a 007 game. It didn't have that bravado and all that kind of stuff because, he didn't have kind of the catchy lines and stuff like that. But, I mean, he did go, get his gadgets and stuff like that. But, mm-hmm. I don't know. It just, I probably have to see more of it or more story or something like that. But to me, it didn't seem that interesting in it.
The 007, this game actually looked pretty interesting to me. From what I was reading more about it, because I did a little bit of it on my news channel. But from reading about this, they said like it's not going to be all about like spy and this. Like it's going to build, like it's going to kind of, I was thinking of more of like an Uncharted, basically. Not like how it's going to be, but like story-wise of how Uncharted is, where it's like, it's not all about treasure hunting, but it's building up kind of like, so this is going to be building up of him being the spy, becoming a 007.
Yeah, because I saw in the trailer, they kind of took the nod of GoldenEye, because there's that rogue agent, I think it was like 009 or something like that, and he has to go apprehend 009.
Yeah, I think so, that would be good.
Like that kind of story like that. I mean, I like that in GoldenEye. That was pretty good up on it. But I don't know. To me, this kind of gives me the I don't know if you remember that game, that Alpha Protocol. Kind of reminds me of that kind of game, where it's like you can pretty much do it however you want.
You just remind me to add that to my collection. I gotta find that game now.
Like, yeah, you could do like the missions or whatever, like however you want, and become that kind of spy, like Jason Bourne.
I think this
like
game is going to be more fully, it's going to be like a third-person shooter, but it's going to be more fully like story-driven. I don't think it's going to have more of like the Bond feel we're used to, because you got to think a lot of the Bond games had like a Daniel Craig or somebody like that. Yeah, because
Bloodstone was really good. I liked Bloodstone up on that, and they mixed it between the first person and the third person and the driving and all that.
What are your thoughts on Luminous Arise?
It's all right. I mean, I know some people
in the game.
I know some people online like that's all that they needed for the state of play, and then that was done. I mean, I'm not a big rhythm game with like Luminous and stuff.
And then last I saw on there was a new Marvel game.
That Marvel fighting game is interesting. 4-on-4. It seems kind of cool. But
that one seems cool. I thought this is interesting. I could do another video on it at some other time, but I thought it's interesting how Capcom's not making it.
Yeah, because they had a partnership with Sony.
Metal Gear Solid Delta, with using how they showed with the little monkeys to be able to do that.
Yeah, I heard in the Xbox they're using different.
Are they?
Yeah,
well, they would have to, yeah.
You know, the Ape Escape ones are there for Sony.
Now, this is an interesting one. Mortal Kombat Legacy
That
Collection.
looks cool.
That looks like it's going to be fun.
The problem I think I see with that one is they say that there's going to be online for, like, all of it. So I don't know if they're going to mean, like, netcode based off of the games you're playing. So Game Boy, you know, can only play Game Boy up online, which would be kind of interesting on it. But I'm just curious on, like, how the trophies are going to be in that game.
We don't know the trophies will probably be
Is it going to be just like the Marvel vs. Capcom collection?
My question, though, is because I stopped playing, like, after the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, Mortal Kombat 4 came out in arcades, played it, like, a little bit. Don't remember 4. I don't remember 5. What was 5? Gold? Like, Mortal Kombat Gold. I don't remember 5.
I think so.
Like, 6. I remember, so the PS3 version was 7, right? Or was that 8?
PS3 was 8 or 9.
Because 9 wasn't PS4 version of the 9, and then they just released 10, like something like that. And see, I don't remember.
No, because I think it was 8 for PS3, 9 for PS4,
and then 10
and then because they had the XL one, so I'm pretty sure that's
maybe 10 for 4. 9 was in PS3, and then 11 is PS5. But
yeah, I think that's how.
That tells you how much of I followed Mortal Kombat. I started playing Mortal Kombat again, so I don't remember the eras between like 4 and even if that is 9, so like 4 to 8. I just remember them kind of just dying out with, like, for me, I remember, you know, as a kid playing that. It was one of those where it was like, oh well, you know.
Ultimate, I think, was the best out of them all. Because,
trilogy.
Well, yeah, the trilogy with the Ultimate up on it. But because I think once they started getting with having Quan Chi, Shinnok, and all that one, like, it kind of, you know, waned, especially when they started making, like, Liu Kang dead, and he's an undead one, and, you know, and then with these newer ones where they're doing the different dimensional fights where they have, like, Shao Kahn fighting this god from this other realm and all of this kind of stuff like that. It started to get just too crazy, and I think it's not as fun as the old school ones. But I'm curious to see though on how the trophy is, and because they haven't revealed two or three of the games that are in that collection.
Yeah, there's still more, but
So
this game kind of also, this collection kind of reminds me of the Ninja Turtles collection, how they did with all the Game Boys and stuff like that. So
and that, if you haven't played that collection's pretty cool. You need to
so they got Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound.
Now that looks pretty cool. As an old school Nintendo-esque type of game, or Shinobi type game.
A game I downloaded but I haven't had time to play was the Neo 3 demo.
Yeah,
they said it's a time demo, so by the time I play, it's probably over with. But
yeah, probably.
I beat 2. One's been hard for me, but these games are tough for me. So I like them, but they're just too tough.
What's tougher, Neo or Ninja Gaiden?
I think Ninja Gaiden's tougher for me. And then this one, Pragmata.
I'm not even interested in that one. That looks kind of dumb in my opinion.
But the new fight stick, even though I'm not a fighting fan, Project Defiant.
It looks pretty nice.
Awesome.
It looks pretty nice up
it
on
looks
it.
awesome there.
Did they reveal how much that one is?
They have it. They just showed off like the specs and what it looks like.
I'm assuming probably about 200.
Probably about that.
Yeah.
Romeo is dead. I didn't care for it too much.
Yeah, I mean, I played like that No More Heroes game, but that's pretty much
Silent Hill F. I'm not big on Silent Hill too much. Like I'll try it.
I played the old school ones, but that was it.
Yeah. Sword of the Sea.
I'm more of a Lone in the Dark than I would be Silent Hill.
Thief VR.
Thief, that was actually pretty interesting to do it, but playing it in the VR, like you have to really, like in VR, the first person mode where you free move, like gives us a headache. So if you did the one where you could just teleport, like that's fine, but to me, like that's not really playing the game. So you gotta kind of have that balance on it. But yeah, I mean, the VR was pretty nice up on that one. What do you think your best one for the Summer Game Fest?
For the Summer Game Fest?
The best game that got revealed.
Gosh, I don't know. There were quite a few for Summer Game Fest. I feel like my predictions though for Summer Game Fest, I made a video on it. For me, I didn't know it. That was my mistake. I didn't know it lasted all week. So the showcases were basically their Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, it was part of the Summer
But if
game.
I were to not just specifically like the award show basically on the Friday, but from what I was talking about, I think there are two things, and it's going to be an unpopular opinion sitting here at this round table because I know how you feel about PlayStation, but I think Xbox brought themselves back into the game. I honestly think so with their handheld and the games that they showed off. I actually think
that
Xbox
handheld revealed is actually pretty interesting because that looks better than the PlayStation Portal.
Yeah.
Because with the PlayStation Portal, you still have to have PS5. You can't just do like how Xbox has it where you just have Game Pass on it and you'll be fine on it.
Can you pre-order them now, I wonder?
No,
I want to email when they're available because I'm going to get one. But here's my thing, though. So I was reading about it. You know, it says you can take Xbox anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So you figure,
yeah,
okay.
it's like a Steam Deck.
It's like a Steam Deck. You think of like your PlayStation Portable. But you can play, because it has like the Microsoft interface in there with the Windows and all that, you could download the PlayStation, the app to play remotely.
The remote play?
And you can play PlayStation games on there.
I mean, they say you could. We don't know. We don't know these things. I mean, if you could, then that'd be pretty cool.
Also because you got to think with the Xbox handheld, their big thing that they're pushing is the Game Pass. So
that's how it's on everything. Yeah.
If Xbox can say you can take this and just play our games anywhere, Sony can't do that. And they're
not yet. I mean, maybe they might be. They might work on their
portals. Their portal's not strong enough to be able to like you could download the games and play it.
Yeah, but I think they
anywhere.
might just do the Plus like they do with Game Pass, and then
you
can have Plus everywhere.
When I was looking at Xbox, the only game that I was kind of like, "The heck is this?" was that the Plague's Tale. I thought the character they had on there and the story that they're going with.
What's the third one called?
Plague's Tale, like Requiem? I can't even say it.
I thought Requiem was the second one.
No, Plague's Tale. You have Plague's Tale Innocence. Plague's Tale. Sorry, I'm trying to type while. So talk to them while I'm doing this.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, the little Xbox handheld. I mean, it looks pretty interesting. I believe it's gonna come in 2 colors. I think it was black and like a grayish looking, or maybe like a white color up on it, which is pretty interesting because I'm assuming that's gonna be about $350 when it comes out. Like that's how much I think it's gonna be.
Resonance. There we go.
Yeah.
I had to Google it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, because the Requiem was the second one.
Yeah, so Playstyle Innocence, Requiem, and then this. But like, I don't like the look of the girl they have in
It's
there.
supposed to be a daughter of somebody.
And it's a prequel. It's a prequel.
Oh, is it?
And the girl, like, if you've played this game, like
I haven't.
the girl in there, I'm trying to fit. What's her name? Amicia. So, in case you haven't been like Dark Knight and you haven't played it, so basically, her brother Hugo, he kind of like has this
So
the
Last
plague,
of Us,
basically,
Last of Us,
and he can
vibe?
control the different things. But anywho, so she's like the main character of this. So when they do the second one, they end up leaving the area that they're in, and then they go to this other place. But she's not in there, so she's like the main character of this.
In the second one?
In the first and second game, her and her brother. But then you're going to get rid of her to add this new girl. And the new girl that they have in here doesn't even look cool. So it's like...
Yeah, because I thought that they said
like
that she was the
I don't know
daughter.
if,
She was the
I
daughter
don't
or
know if
something.
you could see that, but like... She didn't even look that cool compared to the other one. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to... you see it on Steam. You can't see it too much, but like...
Mm-hmm.
That's what they look like. So it's like, this is... They're completely changing it up. I think that they're... I mean, of course, you know, you got to look at more of the trailer. I think that was the only game I was kind of like, really, why? My biggest thing, I don't like prequels.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of like, you released
did
one
that
or two.
first.
Why wasn't that your story and then continue it on? But I feel like they run out of ideas. They do a prequel before they could come up with something else. So any game, like, you do a Final Fantasy, I'm going to be like, really?
Mystic Quest?
Like, Mystic, like, stuff like that. I'm always like, what the heck? See, like, why couldn't you come up with a third one? So, but other than that, with Ninja Gaiden 4, I think right now Xbox is starting, because you're at the area right now where it's like you got to bring out games to get the hype of going into your next console. And I think Xbox is setting themselves up to be able to say, hey, not only can you play our handheld here, but whatever our next console is going to be, you can also play that and combine them both together. Whereas I think PS6, it's going to be like, well, maybe you could do the Portal, maybe you can't. So,
Well, I think this was why Xbox pretty much like lost the console war per se, because
not yet. They're still in it.
No, because if you remember back in the PS4-ish era, maybe PS3-ish, where they were buying all those developers, and then there was no games coming out from those developers, and people were like, "Oh, they're dead." Then these companies aren't doing. This is now the fruit of the labor of all those developers coming up. And now you're seeing them all come out.
I don't care for Black Ops 7. I think Call of Duty's kind of... I think the franchise has gone kind of dry because it's like, how much Black Ops do you have to be doing?
What they should do is just call it Call of Duty and then just do add-ons to it.
You know what?
Like that.
You know
not
what
like,
would be cool?
Not like Black Ops, but do it kind of like how like Fortnite did it.
How they did the classics, like how they have that for PS3, but like a remastered classics of the first 3. And have that online.
That would be kind of cool.
I think fans would like that because there are a lot of fans who want back that kind of the old school way of playing Call of Duty. And like for me, I'll go back and play Call of Duty 4 every once in a while, and it's fun. I like it playing it. Like I'm terrible these days because
I mean, maybe they should just do it where they have the Call of Duty hub, and then they have the different games up on there, and then like every year that they come out with a new one.
What do you think it's gonna look like?
They can just like add that channel
with
to
the
it.
trophies. The trophies are gonna be terrible.
Yeah, but like like add the channel to it, so it'll be like, Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4. You play Black Ops, and then you load up the interface to it like that. I think that would be better instead of having to keep coming out with the game. Costing it, because now it's going to be like $80 and that kind of stuff like that.
Spending $80 right now, if you look on the PS5, it's basically just every game that comes out, it's a DLC trophy. So whatever hub that they're using.
So that's why I think they should just do
trophies.
that and just have the hub instead of bringing out the game. Though, just have it where you buy it digitally. And
but
then
you know,
it keeps
you got to
updating.
think though, even if they just sold the multiplayer, you got to think the value of it, because if I can charge you $80 and you're willing to buy it, and all you play is a multiplayer, then like I sold you a game for $80,
Yeah,
even though you don't play.
to me, I think that they need
to,
to, like, either get rid of the single player
I don't think so.
and then just have because most people play the online and the zombies. Most people don't play the single player game, so they buy it for those two.
The thing is,
so
though,
have those
they
two.
used to have it where I think it was like it ended pretty much with like Black Ops 2, but it was like either their online was really good, their story was terrible, or their story was good, really good, and their online was terrible. And I know after Black Ops 2, like Ghost was really good.
Yeah, even though nobody liked the Ghost, it didn't sell a lot.
I thought Ghost, the story was good, and that extraction mode was really good.
Yeah, I like the extraction.
And the Advanced Warfare, I thought it kind of took the they were trying to go in a different direction, but I felt like the story was good, but the online wasn't that good, because they had that one where it was like you killed all those they introduced the zombies right at the end when you were doing that survival mode. But I felt like the story was really good. So I felt like a Ghost 2, if you did a Ghost 2 Extraction. But the way that the franchise is now, like nobody's going to want to play Extraction. They're all going to want to play Warzone. They're all going to want to play Zombies.
Yeah.
So as fans, like that's your main market. People like me who would rather play Extraction, you're not selling me a game. You're selling the people who would be willing to play all
maybe
those.
Once they do Black Ops 10, they'll stop with that. Do Modern Warfare 10, stop with that.
I might be retired.
Then they might do Ghost 2 and then do the whole Ghost franchise.
I might be retired from gaming by then. So
yeah,
but
pretty much.
But you never know. Check out that video after you watch this. My retirement videos. But we gotta get to the next one, because I could keep talking about.
So the next game is the game that you said, oh, they are not gonna have it on the Summer Game Fest or anything like that. They're not going to go show it at the State of Play. They're not going to do that. It's not even coming out, even though the leaks showed that they were coming out. It's Final Fantasy Tactics. Now, how hype are you that this game is actually coming out, and how good the trailer looked for this game?
Here's the thing: is I'm trying to pull up the trailer as we speak. I was so bad because I missed the State of Play because of the work. I got home and I was winding down from work, and I looked at the State of Play and I was kind of like, this game's alright. This game's alright. What? Final Fantasy Tactics? They actually revealed it. So I started watching the trailer, and then they were like, pre-order now. It's like, what? Pre-order now? So I went on Square's website, and I got like one of the last copies of the collector's edition, but I didn't know that they had a collector's edition and game, so I just got the collector's edition. And then when I went to look on there again, because I wanted it for both, they ended up not having it. But I was so bad, because I was like, I don't want this game remastered. And then I pre-ordered. This is probably one of the only games like I will throw like billions of dollars at, because it's my favorite game of all time. So I was like, I'm going to do it. But I'm curious to know, for somebody who's going through a trophy retirement, I was curious to know, are they going to make you play through like twice, like beat the game on the original and then beat the game on the updated graphics? That's
interesting. I could see them doing that to make you experience both games, especially people who've never played it.
Yeah. I don't think they would, because I simply think that they're going to. You got to think of a game like this to try to bring in fans. I think they're going to make it easier. I don't even see a trophy of them like maxing all job classes, even though that would be fun. But
I can see them doing it where you get the calculator, or you get all summons.
What do they call this? The mathematician or somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't know what they call it.
My whole thing now. So if you looked at this, are they still? They don't have it anymore, do they? The edition, right? See, the unavailable.
Yeah,
so I can't go for a standard one.
No.
But when you're looking at the Square Enix, them having this game, I think, do you think, because they said and more, so do you think it's going to be extra content like after you beat the game, or do you think it's going to be just more of like a
well, some people are saying that you'll play Deleted side, so you'll get his story on it, because you don't really get to know why he turned and did all that stuff that he did.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that you'll be able to play that side and, get to see and experience all that stuff that is happening for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be interesting up on it, because then you get to know, that side of the story.
Yeah.
Kind of like how they did in Tactics Ogre, where you got to play with like Vice and Katja and all that, and kind of see why Vice, turned and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So I see that they could probably do that. I'm hoping the and more or extra stories
Yeah.
where they add in new content, like I've been wanting them to do, where they add in other Final Fantasy characters besides Cloud.
Well,
I was hoping that they maybe add in like Lightning or Noctis or somebody like that.
Well, so,
I mean,
so
they added in Bethia.
here's the thing, though. If you're going to pre-order it, there's a deluxe edition. It comes with the Academy Blade. It says raise the unit speed slightly.
Mm-hmm.
So they got basically the Academy Aware. You get the game, and then you get some consumables. And that collector's edition looks pretty good. But the one thing, and it releases September 30th, so if you guys are still thinking about it. But the one thing I wanted to look at, there were a couple things. There was discussion about the job classes.
Yeah, right.
So here says that there's more than 20 jobs, but they don't talk about whether or not you'll get like the Dark Knight, the Onion Knight, things like that. So if there's more than 20 jobs, you think that they're going to add more to this edition?
Well, did the base game only have 20 jobs? I'm trying to remember.
They had a handful,
but I don't know if it was 20.
I don't know if it was exactly 20.
Yeah.
But
so
they had a handful.
Because I know in the PSP one they added the Dark Knight and the Onion Knight.
Yeah.
Up on that. So hopefully that's in this one here. But with the picture that they showed of the grid, it does not look like they have those ones in there.
No, but they're a lot grayed out. But you see that they only show like a
yeah,
handful.
but with the grayed out ones, you can pretty much.
But you can see like here too. You can see kind of like they have the Lancer, and the Lancer unlocks something else, but you don't really see the bottom there. So I think there
might be like an extra row.
Like you see how like the Lancer goes there.
Yeah,
but then you don't see anything else. But everything else is pretty much the same there too. But I think that revamped job system on here that they show, like the way that they show it, is interesting, because I think a lot of people. Because I remember growing up playing this game, I was like, I didn't understand how you could JP and be able to build your jobs up and things like that. So I thought this would be pretty interesting to get. I'm just excited for it. I think this is a game. I'm pre-ordering it on the PS5. I'm putting in like 100 hours into it, like I did, like Suikoden and stuff like that. But I'm going for it. This game's gonna be awesome. And the remaster one, this newer one has voice acting. So remember that guy who did Cloud's voice, and people were talking about, oh, he was doing is it the Rebirth? No, he was doing voice acting for this. So the girl who does Aerith's voice and the guy who does Cloud's voice, they're doing voice acting in here. So I'm definitely playing through that one because I want to hear. Yeah, I want to hear the voice acting.
Then we can actually know what their names are instead of just thinking like, oh, is it Ramza or is it Ramza? Like,
and they have difficulty version. So for me, unless it's gonna force me for the trophies to play on like the most difficult, I'm playing on easy. I'm gonna build up too, but I'm excited for this game. This is a game I'm getting all schoolgirl about it. So
I'm getting it day one. So basically,
I'm definitely pre-ordered it. Pre-order on the Switch, got the collector's edition, and I'm going to pre-order it on the PlayStation. Like, this is one of those games, I think, outside of Expedition 33, where I'm like, I'm getting it for everything, because this game's going to be so good. And I'm hoping, too, that everybody, they buy this game. This is one of those games. I don't usually tell people, like, go on, get it. Everybody's, like, drop 100. No, this is the game you spend all your money on. You put in hundreds of hours into this game. You continue to build everything you can.
Do you think that if this game sells a lot, that they'll make a sequel?
I hope not. And that's unless they made this version kind of like with the and more, that they set it up to be able to do a sequel. Because I don't know if it's almost 30 years if I could give spoilers, but the way that it ends, you can possibly see
that there could
be a sequel. But you would think after 30 years, you couldn't come up with a sequel after 30 years for this game.
I mean,
for
they wanted
almost
to
30
do
years.
Final Fantasy 10-3, and they haven't done that
But
forever,
they did kind of do that voice acting thing for the collection on the PS3 where you kind of hinted at it. But I hope they don't make a sequel. This game is so good that I feel like if you made a sequel, you're going to tarnish it because you have the advanced versions of those games, but they're not as good as this game. And you got to think the same people who came up with this game are the same who came up with Tactics Ogre, which is a really, really good game too. We were eating good with these ones back in the day when we had all those tactics games. But I'm excited for this one. I can't wait. I say get it, pre-order.
Another good tactics game that I haven't seen remake or brought out to network is Stellar Deus.
Yes.
That game was really, really
PS2.
good on PS2.
They need to bring that out for.
Yeah.
I believe Atlas made that.
Yeah, Alice made a lot of bangers back.
Arctalad. Arctalad. They need to bring.
They need to
bring that back.
Bring either the PS1 collection where it has Arc 1 through 3, and then that Battle Royale one, or bring in the second PS2 game. Like, what's stopping them? Like, come on.
But
That's
yeah,
Moneymaker.
bring this game. I'm definitely building a class with the monk because that's my favorite one. And
You're gonna turn everybody into the monks.
I don't know because you figure when you learn the Earth Wave, you just line up, you hit them all it's gonna be so good.
Do you think that they'll still have that cheesing way of leveling up?
I think so.
Your job class where you throw the rock.
I think
you
they'll.
stand there and
I
you
think
keep
they'll
pounding
keep
on
it,
them
but
with
what I
healing
think
them.
they're gonna add is they're gonna add like the how they do with the Pixel remaster, where they add like the 4 times
the speed
and money.
those
I
kind
think
of
they're
thing.
gonna do that just because.
I could see them doing it.
Just because they're not gonna. Because I think the way that gaming is today, we're not willing to spend, 50,
It being
100 hours
super
to
slow and
just
stuff.
super grind at the very beginning. So a lot of us want to just go through it and, because you figure if you just bought this game and then you're going to play through it, like, you're going to want it easy enough that you can beat the story, figure it out, and then be on your way.
Do you think that they'll have that materia blade for Cloud?
They will.
And it's still having where you
They
find
might not
items
call
on
it
there?
Materia Blade. They might call it Buster Sword. They might change up the names because they gave you this one Academy Blade that's not even that was never in the beginning.
Yeah.
So like you figure if they give you Academy Blade, are they gonna have new weapons now? Is it gonna be more? Are they gonna have more fine tune of?
I mean, they
get,
had more weapons in the PSP version, so
they had a little bit more, but it wasn't like
because they had to do it for the 2 new job classes. So.
I wish that they had. I wish in this one they had it where you could play online with your friends and be able to do like just battles, and they have battles online like they did with the PSP version.
PSP, you
That's a whole
joined
reason
together
why we
about
got it. Well, besides the game is good, the whole reason why. Remember, we bought 2
all you
copies
got to
and
do
played
is
it the whole
do
time.
Thunder God Sid.
That was
pretty
it.
much
Such a
beat
good
everything
game.
apart.
I wish too with what's his name? Is it Olan or whatever they changed the name to? I wish they would let you use that class. That's kind of the one I wish that they would do. They had some of these classes that were really good. I wish they would let you learn those classes.
I mean,
like in this
maybe
one.
they might.
I don't think
might
so.
be the and more.
But that would be interesting because that guy, he could just stop time on everybody. Like that was fun. So
Yeah,
but
or do the one where it's the undead class.
we could be here like the rest of the time. So I'd say let's keep going.
All right.
we could be here the rest.
The last thing we're talking about is when do you think Final Fantasy IX Remake is going to be revealed? Do you think it's Tokyo Game Show?
The trailer, because now we know that this is pretty much the last. That's gonna be pretty much the last.
That's
game.
the last one that they need to reveal from the new video.
I'm still sticking to my guns. I think so. September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So maybe February, March of next year comes out 9.
But do you think that they'll show like a trailer, like
think
to show that the game is real?
They'll either show it at Tokyo Game Show or they'll drop a state of play by the time like this the Tactics comes out. They'll probably drop another state of play and show it. But I think it's going to be out early next year. And then I'm still sticking to my guns. The fact that they're going to have, because if they wait till 2027 for their remake part 3, like they're pretty much done unless they're going to build up to where like, oh, you play Tactics and you play 9 and then hopefully 9, you got enough buzz about it. Now you want to play the final of the trilogy. But
do you think 16, now that it's on Xbox, is going to make a lot of money?
I think
to
so.
make it where
I think so.
maybe every game's going to come now.
I
mean,
think
every
so.
game's coming out anyway. Square Enix.
I think it's a smart decision that they did that, because you got to think there are fans who are just loyal to Xbox, who are like, I'm not going to buy it on PC. I'm not going to buy it on, even though you can play it on PC, but they're just loyal to Xbox and they want to play it. And then you got people who, you know, who will be willing to play it on there again and just buy it on there, play it again. Like, you got real fans on there who would buy it again. So I think it's a good idea, especially the fact that they gave you
all the DLCs,
Ultimate Edition, things like that. So I think it's a good choice. And also seeing the remake on there, I think it's good because it gives, because you got to think, like, after you played it, that game came out 5 years ago, the remake. So it's been like 5 years. So now that it's finally coming to Xbox after 5
and
years,
Rebirth and all that,
and Rebirth is gonna come soon, like, that's gonna give you the buzz again to be able to say, oh, I gotta play it. I'll play it on Xbox and I'll 100% it again, and I'll go through this, and then you'll enjoy it going through it again. Because I might actually just buy it and start playing it again and go through those on like how much Xbox games I could get 100%, you know, something like that. But I think that's gonna be I think it's a smart choice. I want to see more like Star Ocean next and stuff like that on there. So,
well, I think 16 is good to be bringing
really
out
good
now because they have Ninja Gaiden, Neo, all those like action,
really good games.
Games there. So it's like if you like Ninja Gaiden, you like you know, the Souls type games and stuff like that. Like it pretty much plays the same. You're just one character. You get everybody else's abilities, and you just do that.
It's a really, really good game. I think 16.
I didn't think it was going to be
5.
that good because seeing like the trailer and stuff, like I thought it was kind of like, oh, this game's going to be dumb. But then playing it, and I also thought it was going to be dumb because of how it's like Ninja Gaiden type thing, not like a RPG, but actually playing it, it was actually pretty fun and pretty good. And the story was really good because it's different from any other Final Fantasy because it's more mature topics and mature like blood and all that.
But overall, too, I think the story, because usually what Final Fantasy does is they have a love interest, and the love interest dies. Like, I think at like 15, for instance,
or it gets kidnapped.
Unifreya died, and then, you know, Noctis is like, he turns angry, and then he starts, you know, beating everybody in his sight. Like, I like this one, the fact that they didn't kill Jill. They weren't
I mean,
we're gonna take him.
In 4, they didn't kill Rosa. They just kidnapped her. So,
but it was more like a bond. They focused more like the bond between two brothers, and how Clive was always like, I couldn't protect him. And then it's kind of like he enters that rage mode towards the end of like I'm going to protect you. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And then you kind of see, I think they built Clive's character really well in this one, because you kind of see him, like, you're kind of like, really, Clive, stop being a beta. And then he kind of evolves into this, like, I'm taking control. I'm going to do this. And, you know, you're not going to stop me because that's my family. So I felt like they built this character really good. Because a lot of times I was like, Clive, just like hit him with Odin or something.
Yeah,
like.
the last boss I didn't think was that great.
I figured out who the last boss was like halfway through the game. I kind of figured it out because I was like, is it gonna be the mom? Is it gonna be like, you know, is the dad gonna come back, or like, and I figured it out. But
yeah, I thought it would have been better if it was a different.
The only thing I did not like about Final Fantasy 16, and I'll probably talk about this when I make my my platinum retirement video, is the fact that it was like, you fight the boss, you had the bar, and it was like you had to do those
you do like the
battles.
20 million battles for just the one boss. Yeah,
just to be able. So like, I was strong enough to be able to take the bar down, but I couldn't take the bar down because I had to do the action scenes. That was the only thing I hated.
And then when you played on Final Fantasy mode, you had to know by the color.
Yeah,
like, oh, I have to hit, you know, R1, or I got to hit triangle or square or whatever like that.
Other than that, I think to wrap it up, because I know we got one more segment, but to wrap it up, overall, I think Xbox did the best. I think Sony didn't do good, and then Nintendo is more pushing their Switch 2. So I feel like Xbox, good job with Xbox. I think that they're back in the game. They just need to build on this success. But what do you think?
Well, our final thing is what was the one thing from the State of Play and the one thing from the Summer Game Fest that you thought that thumbs up, it was good, and then what's one from each that you thought like, oh,
Well,
it was a
I would go
waste?
Summer Game Fest. I feel like
Like overall, what would you rate it?
overall, I don't think Summer Game Fest was one of those where they didn't. I didn't feel like they did a really good job. It was more like I felt like it was more like buddies, like, hey, we're hanging out, we're doing this. I don't think game wise it was that good. Like, I don't know what I'd give it for a rating. I felt like there wasn't enough because I felt like more people focused the PlayStation and all them focused on the showcases versus actually giving. I felt like it should have been like give you whatever at your showcase, drop something at Summer Game Fest, and then get the hype going into the weekend. So other than that, I feel like, and I'm going to continue to say it, PlayStation gave a big dud. There wasn't enough good games.
So what was the two that you thought was really good that you're like,
So
this is the good games?
So I would say Summer Game Fest, PlayStation, boo, boo, State of Play, same thing, boo. But I think 3 games stood out. Neo 3, definitely, I think get that one. That one is one I'm not good at, but it's intriguing. That new Marvel fighting game, and then Final Fantasy Tactics. I think those are the 3 games you have to get.
I'd say the State of Play was all right. If I had to rate it, I think I'd probably give it like a 3. And then with the Summer Game Fest, it just reminded me of the Video Game Awards.
That's what.
So it wasn't really like anything.
That's what I was saying. It's more like buddies, like, hey guys, let's get together.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
And so they didn't really like have any like, I've never seen this one before.
You had Resident Evil 9, which is awesome, but it was like, okay, well, you got Resident Evil 9 now. That's cool. You can't build your hype with Resident Evil. Like, you had to keep the momentum going.
Well, what the thing with Resident Evil 9 is it was already revealed that it was coming out before Summer Game Fest was even announced.
Yeah.
So it's like people already knew that it was going to be shown somewhere. So really, like, the hype of it wasn't really there. The only thing that was interesting on it was, like, who was going to be the main protagonist, that kind of stuff up on there, and how this virus is getting out and up on there. So I say that Summer Game Fest wasn't really, I'd give that a 3. The State of Play wasn't really that good. The games that stood out for me was, number 1 would be Final Fantasy Tactics. That game is going to blow out anything up on it.
That broke the internet for me.
The other one is, I really like that Ninja Gaiden one that they showed.
The 2D side-scroller
2D side-scroller one. That looks pretty cool up on it. It's probably going to be really super hard, but it still looks pretty interesting. And then the third one, I would say it's kind of like a tie, either between that Marvel 4-on-4 and the Mortal Kombat collection, because I didn't think that they were going to ever bring out the collection, because when they brought out that Marvel vs. Capcom collection, I was like, oh, this is cool there, but I didn't think anything that they were planning on doing the Mortal Kombat one. So for me, I thought that was interesting up on it, and I'm like, oh, this would be cool. It'd bring back old school memories and stuff like that of playing stuff like that. What they need to do, so if you're listening 2K or Ukes or Jack Specific or whatever, is bring out the SmackDown collection.
That would be interesting.
Because if you did 1, 2, Here Comes the Pain, Know Your Role, bring out all those SmackDown
One thing
games on there.
that though is licensing. I think
That's
that
the
might
only
be the
problem,
only issue.
is probably why they don't. But those games would pretty much beat out your 2K.
But
wrestling
that
games
would be
every year.
interesting. And like, I kind of think of, if you want to go with collection wise like that too, I kind of think with Madden as well. Why don't you bring out like an old school? I would like to play every Madden using kind of like that. So what Madden 05's build was on that, and like 06, and kind of play through all those and just have a mode where you can play through that. And what was really good too, what Madden used to do was those like the showcases where it was like replay this one, like things like that. But I think that's pretty good. But
yeah. So that's all that we have for this episode, which if I'm mistaken, it's episode 7. So if I forgot to say that at the beginning, then
you were so worried about that.
I was so worried about being solo and not having anything to drink. That's why I lost my memory up on it. But I'm Dark Knight 316, and I have the Roundtable podcast that we do together up on there for my channel. I also have a drinking and food channel up on there where I, sample interesting things that I think people will like and put it up on there. It's mainly going to be like shorts, but it can also be long form as well.
What about pants?
Yeah, it could be pants too. And then Robert Wheeler Gaming, he has his channel.
So mine focuses on gaming news reviews. I'm going through trophies. Not only my journey through Planet Retirement, but I want to go through, like, as I'm going through trophies, kind of give you like history of my trophy failures, like things like that. Going through a lot of reviews and things like that. Going through like there's different segments, PlayStation, Xbox, like things like that. So yeah, we got a lot in store. My main focus is gaming news every week, and I actually do collection videos as well. I'm having one drop today, so we'll have a collection video of going over my PS4 and PS5 RPGs that I've collected over the last couple months. So definitely want to show that off, and we just we appreciate you guys tuning in every single week. We enjoy doing this. It's fun. Talking about games, of course. Just two old guys reminiscing about the games that they love and what's coming out. So I just want to thank you for everything. God bless you guys, and remember, keep gaming.
Yep, and don't forget to like and subscribe to both of our channels.
Subscribe
Right.
in the comments, right
Someplace.
I think right there, up there.
Yeah,
Down there.
All
No. Bye guys. Have a good one. Thank you. God bless you guys.